We are live now. It is 6:28. Durai, thanks a lot for accepting my invitation. I just want to see the sanity check, whether the live is on.
Sure.
So I think it takes a minute for it to show. It's yet to show. Actually, it takes a little while for the live to show that it is on actually. Do you see it?
I see is the phone live will start soon.
That's what it says?
Yeah, the phone, that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. So 6:29 right now, because we actually are live. We should be live right now, although I just don't see it on the. Maybe. Are we live now? Can anyone see us? Sometimes people see others. People see us in the live first.
Okay, so let me even check. Yeah, I think we are live.
We are live.
Yes.
Do you see that in your screen?
I see. I went off and came back. I think we are live.
Because I was not seeing it in my phone actually. So 6:30 now. Just want to make sure that it is live. Right. We are live. We are live and we are four. Very good evening, Durai. Thanks a lot for taking my offer to do this FB Live. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, welcome to all the guests who want to get a bit of perspective from one of the very influential operational excellence experts, along with a strategic outlook. Actually, that's Duraivel Gopal. Durai, I'm really pleased to do this FB Live with you. So I'm doing a series of. By the way, I'm Jagan Mantha. Lifepoint.com will tell more details about me and what I'm up to. So during Wipro days, I think it was it 2004?
2003, 2004.
2004 is when I first met you.
Yeah.
I want to actually share a quick tidbit about what I recall about you, because we were together in the Microsoft account. I come from primarily an ADM background, but my portfolio also had some infrastructure, and it is like the matrix, right? You are the infrastructure head for the whole Hyderabad at the time. So one thing that really struck me at that point of time is you are actually trying to review whatever is happening along with me. Actually, I saw a clear intent from your side, to actually educate me, because I wasn't so much clear about infrastructure, and I want to actually share a small tidbit, which is like there was a help desk that you had set up at that time, and you yourself used to call the help desk to see how the help desk actually would do the opening greeting and all that. I mean, it was a deep check that you were doing actually. So I want to really that was an impression that I had, clear impression I had about you actually. So Durai, can we go through a quick introduction of you, a little bit of your life story, so that somebody who do not know you much will actually know something about you?
Sure. Thank you, Jagan, for having me in your series of program. I'm certainly privileged to connect with you for a long time, and also connect with your fans as well. So thank you for having me. I've been in this IT service industry for close to 30 years now. I started my career in 1990. By this November, I'll do 30 years of work in IT services. Certainly, what I've learned is working with lots of people, with many youngsters, diverse profiles by country, by geography, even within India, outside India. I traveled fairly widely in Europe, in the US, in Australia and Middle East, Japan. And all those has been a lot of learning. So every day I've been learning. I continue to learn. And I take the opportunity to thank at least about 10,000 people who have taught me, 10, 20,000
Wow.
people who have taught me in various conversations, right? And so currently I lead an expectation of 3,000 people
Wow.
in my current role. Okay, so that's what my job is. They look after my customers.
Sure. Great. Great. Although we are not trying to do this in a talking to the person. I see a frozen image from your side, Durai.
So can you
Are you
repeat
good?
again? I think probably I was cut off for a second.
So what I'm saying is, nothing official about it. The Pepsi tagline I'm using as a disclaimer, so
Yeah.
that this is not really in an official capacity you're doing yet. I'm talking to Durai, the person who has. You're probably one of a very apt person to be talking about unlearning and relearning. Not only from a professional perspective, I will get into a little bit of a personal aspect as well. You know that I would do that. But one thing is that you are an ideal candidate who has probably kept on learning in the last 3 decades actually. So I'm actually saying that you are a perfect person for me for this particular interview.
Thank you, Jagan.
So give me a lot of places, lot of companies, lot of learning. So I want to get a sense of not really any formula per se, but what forms of effectively working with people you have discovered for yourself. Also, probably would have taught this to others also. So, would you be willing to share some forms
Sure.
of leading people, or
Working with people, I would say,
working with
right? More
people?
than
Yeah.
people, working with people. So some of the forms which is work for me, and I would try and communicate to others more in terms of what worked for me. When we are leading with working with people, maybe in a managerial capacity, a supervisor capacity, I felt the 3 forms as quite important, which work for me. Be in front of people,
Mhm.
be behind the people, and
Okay.
be inside of them. Let me double click a little bit on each one of them. Okay,
Right.
be in front of people. Our team goes through a lot of challenges. Could be compensation, could be work challenges, some policy related stuff, could be a client escalation. Human error is still quite common in our way of working because we're humans, right? That's why we're human errors. Okay, and many of the situations I felt I've been in front of the people. Okay, be in front of management, be in front of customer, be in front of the people to safeguard them in a way like a cushion. I'm like what do you call the airbag in the car. It pops up when you're
Oh,
in
wow.
trouble. Okay,
Fantastic.
so one of the example I took it is with the many. One of them I would say is I had a customer in Japan. You know, Japanese are extremely quality oriented. Okay, they don't know failures, right? That's how I've been brought up. And one of a colleague made a human error. It happened on a Thursday or Friday, and it has brought the systems down. Bringing a
Goodness, yeah.
system down on a human error, it's a thing. So it happened on a Thursday or a Friday, I think, and got together a team, understood what it is, and Monday afternoon I was there in Tokyo.
Wow.
Okay, took a plane and went there. And when I was traveling here, I also did my YouTube study in terms of how to say apology in Japanese culture.
Oh,
How much you
wow.
bend, how much you bend, how far you bend, and all of them, right? So that's being in
Fantastic.
front of people. Okay, there are many
Mhm.
examples like that. Okay,
Mhm.
behind a team. Okay,
Mhm.
whenever there's an opportunity for your team to be in
Mhm.
front of the customer or be in front of management or showcase something, in an audience, okay, just be behind them and support them.
Right.
And they, friend, you're behind them. Support them so that they showcase. If they come in flying colors, automatically you as a leader also been recognized. Okay.
Right. So basically, it's like enabling them when you are behind them.
Give all the support and just be behind them. And the third element is an equally an important element. Okay. Again, all are human beings. We have emotions. We have family situations. There could be some personal situations. Could be a bereavement. Could be some financial loss. Somebody being sick. Any of them, right? And during this situation, just put your arm around people and say, "I'm with you. Don't worry. Focus. Okay, you're one of 1,000 or 10,000, 100,000 people in the company. For you, you're the one. So look after them." Okay.
True.
And that's the three things I've been consistently practicing, Jagan, from the time we met in Hyderabad until now. And I would say this be in front of people, be behind people, and be inside of them. This forms sort of guiding me.
Fantastic. Right. So I really like the fact that you're telling them as forms, because many a times there is a tendency to say this is the formula. So I'm actually trying to. My second book is about trying to incite people to discover forms of learning, unlearning, and learning, basically, as well as it's actually a continuation from my earlier book also, which is about transitions actually. Because transitions, I have a very personal view on transitions, not just professional but personal, because they happen in tandem actually. Most of the time, people generally silently deal with it because it's not something that is very comfortable to talk about actually. So although I bitten that bullet and try to do that with respect to my book actually. So I know I have sent you a copy of the book. I don't know how much you have been actually flip it through, right?
I think so. Your book has actually given a third dimension of chill. Was probably impressed me, Jagan. Okay. Definitely, we need to have a capacity in terms of will and the capability in terms of skill. More or less, many times I have the two dimension. You have a willpower to do and you have a skill to do. And chill through the process, right? While you're going through, it's probably has impressed me. And I think that's my biggest learning through your book. And I keep telling my children many times, your next day exam, don't try to burn a midnight oil. Okay.
True.
You can probably see a movie in the previous evening if you planned well. Through the process still. I think that's a good stuff. And I know you referred quite a few movies in this. Maybe in my list, I should see this Telugu movie, Happy Holidays, right? In the movie
Happy
name.
Days, actually. It's Happy Days. So
movie there.
Yeah, Durai, am I getting dark actually in the sense? Do you see?
Yes.
Because maybe I should just switch on a different light because
I know. I thought Jagan by design you're throwing some light now. So on the topic.
Yeah, not really. The chill has been very hard. Learned in a very hard way for me actually. So it was through my mother's illness of like being wheelchaired for almost 10 years. 2000 to 2010. I was actually going through that period when probably I met you first actually. But then anyway, the way I have coped it through is trying to find 9 to 6 working opportunities, and I'm really thankful to Wipro as an organization that I could actually get several of them in sequence actually. So I really want to acknowledge Wipro also as a company right now. So Durai, I also mindful of the time. So transition is actually not an easy situation actually, isn't it? So in the sense, depending on the degree of challenge that is being thrown in terms of personal challenges, of course, professional challenges are also there. I'm not trying to undermine one or the other actually, because you as a person you need to deal with both. So would you be minding to? My COVID terminology, COVID as in coping through very intense difficulty. So would you throw some light on that actually?
Sure. There are many small things. Obviously, the big one happened to me in 2007.
Okay.
So I was based in the UK,
Mm-hmm.
running business development work in 2007. I that time I had my second child born as well. She
Sure.
born in April 2007, and the first child was son was 8 years old, 7 years old that point in time. So we are on a vacation in India.
Mm-hmm.
It was December, cold December, and obviously two, three reasons. One, vacation, and second, my little one was born, and she was 7, 8 months old that point in time. So obviously, everyone has to see all the extended families
True.
see the new child, and we came in for a vacation in December, and on a unexpected medical intervention, negligence, possibly, my wife passed away.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's
it is pretty.
Yeah, it was really a big jolt.
Yeah.
I just came for a vacation to India, and just things done. And my daughter was just 8 months old,
Real
and
COVID moment.
yeah, my son was 7 years that point in time. A real COVID moment.
Mm,
Okay, in the terminology, what you're putting it together, right? So you suddenly feel now, okay, what happened and why
mm,
me? You go through all these questions. Why me? What
mm,
happened? What did I do wrong? What did she do wrong? Okay, we just came on a vacation. In fact, when I calling the airlines and tell them this is what happened, so they couldn't just get it clearly. No, do you want to reschedule the ticket? I
mm,
said, the wife is no more, therefore I need to cancel the ticket. Okay.
mm.
That's it's a big jolt. It's happened 13 years ago. It's really a big jolt. I was actually living there, house, car, work, everything out there. So then sort of reconciled. It took a while. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It took a while to reconcile. Then I said, we got to bounce back. Okay,
Mm,
we including my two children as well. So we got to bounce back into this, and there is a reason for living. That's more bigger reason to look after the two children. Okay, the reason for living, and really go to bounce back. So I've been constantly bouncing back from then, even now bounce back, and look at altering few things. First of all, I learned cooking. Okay,
mm,
and I left my daughter in India with my brother. I went back to UK, and so what it means to run like a single father. But me and my son used to leave for about 5 months. Okay, and I also said, right, the children shouldn't lose anything.
mm.
Uh, of course, they lost mother; they didn't lose anything. So my son's birthday comes in May, and he had the same celebration how he had the previous year. We
Yeah.
took to a place and took all his classmates, do a playing game, etc. Okay, I said he shouldn't miss fun thing. So came back and bounced back and came relocated to India. Okay, and my parents supported me, brothers supported me, my in-laws supported me.
Yeah.
So my daughter was one of the coping, two, three coping ways of doing it, right?
Right.
One
Right.
is
Yeah. I mean, and that's the form of coping which is I'm trying to highlight because and no two forms may be. This is again not a formula.
right. Okay. So I'll
Yeah.
just a couple of forms, right? One of the form is actually writing, putting it on a piece of paper. Okay.
Mm,
Otherwise, I mean, I don't think I write. I don't know if I write well now also, but I'm saying if you put it in a piece of paper, okay. So sometimes I put all my anguish in a piece of paper. Why this happened? How did it happen? It's more as a message to others. It started that
true.
way. More as a
Right.
message to others saying, hey, be careful. Okay. It is
And
not
that
the Facebook days, not those WhatsApp days. It's
right.
still a
Yeah.
email days, 2007.
Right.
It's not so much a Facebook days. Okay.
Right.
It's more of email days. And believe me, the kind of strength that came into me
Right.
when many people came back and said, thanks for sharing. I had a problem like this in the same place. Or etc. Can he come and help you? Or any of them, right? So a strength came in from other directions
I,
as well.
I, I was receiving those mails as well as I was responding to them. That's how I'm intimately, kind of invested in that kind of COVID moment that you are going through, actually. So, yeah.
Okay. Then coming to my daughter, right? She was that time. Obviously, she grew up, and 3 years, 3.5 years, she was off to school. in a kindergarten school. And somewhere at that point, she was trying to know the difference. Okay, the mom and etc. Otherwise, she used to think I was a mother, and she used to call me as Amma. Okay,
You're the
so
mother. Yeah.
yeah, maybe she was doing it based on activities, possibly. Okay, I mean, mom changed diaper and television. Here, this person's changed diaper, so therefore, mom. Mom feeds food, probably it is. Okay. So when she was going to school, I felt she should not be known for sympathy,
Hmm.
etc. types, right? And I said she should be known for something special, not for this reason. Okay. So that's why every Friday I used to cook a lunchbox. I'm sure may be familiar with this, Jagan. My
I know. I was, as I said, I was intimately invested in all those posters. I mean, all those messages. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So I used to make a lunchbox. The lunchbox would be very, very simple. It's just a dosa. But those shall be various shapes and forms: aeroplane dosa, television dosa, clock dosa, cartoon. If the World Cup was coming that time, only three stumps and a bat and ball with some vegetables in it.
So
So,
you're implementing Amul strategy for your dosa making.
yeah, correct. Okay. And the lunchbox is very special for her. Okay, so teachers used to look for the lunchbox on a Friday. So that's what I call Friday Lunchbox. I have a blog called Friday Lunchbox. My first formal blog title is Friday Lunchbox.
Fair
Okay.
enough. Right.
I was trying to compare this with work. How
Hmm.
do we need to deal with people? Everyone is an individual, not a system administrator, a database administrator, Java developer. There are roles, but they are Kumar, Ramesh, Sita, Parvati, whatever names, right? Deepika. Okay, they're individuals. Okay, and they need to be treated special as an individual. And that's how we're related. And from there, I'm trying to use writing as much as possible. And Lunchbox went on for a couple of years. So after
Yeah, I
that, that's
remember.
those.
I remember. I mean, it used to like the image is what actually I would look for, and it was like it was really uplifting messages actually. So actually, it is possible to cope even when things are really difficult, but then you need to figure out the ways of coping. That's the whole idea I want to extract it out from you, and actually take the advantage of this platform to get
I
that
would
spread a
agree.
bit.
I think in terms of you touched upon the unlearning learning, right? Learning can everywhere. That's quite important. We learn a lot from children.
Right.
Really, we can learn a lot from children, and it's important to be in their shoes as well. And you talked about right and taking a phone call, service desk phone call. Continue to do okay, taking, and so that we know there will be shoes. In fact, I made a recent adventure of brave, very courageous adventure of being in my children's shoes. My son
Okay.
is
What was
university going. Okay, let me still take a minute and say that. So my son is in a university now, in the UK, doing aerospace in Manchester. Is completing his second year. My elder daughter, she is 19 years old, looking for a medical school. My younger one is now a grade 9. Okay, so I've always been telling them, right? No, you must pick up a book, study, read, revise, do this, practice, etc. So I'm trying to be in their shoe now. So I signed up for a doctoral course now. I'm a research scholar now. Okay.
Wow, this is news to me. I didn't know this.
Yeah, this is just last 6 weeks, 6 weeks old.
What
So
what
I'm
are
a,
you what are you getting
I'm
into?
yeah, I'm doing a doctorate in business administration.
Wow.
I'm a coursework in the first 6 weeks of coursework. I have an exam coming up on July 4th. So I'm trying to be in now. So
Where,
reading paper, you say homework.
where are you, where are you doing this? Where are you doing this? Which university?
SP Jain School of Global Management.
Oh, okay. I thought it's an American 4th July being the Independence
No.
Day.
One of the exam I'm saying
Okay.
it's an Australian accredited course. It's
Okay.
Australian course, but done by SP Jain. So trying to be in their shoes, it's not easy in being their shoes now. And
When you get into
trying to,
formal education, then you realize that okay, this is what they're going through. Okay.
yeah, correct.
Interesting. Interesting. So wonderful to get this. So Durai, I know it is very, you know, you are now like a bigger family from that whatever the COVID moment that you have gone through, but then like you have obviously bounced back. I really acknowledge and appreciate for the like getting on to the new phase. Actually, when did you do that? Actually, when did the new phase start for you?
So in 2011.
2011. Great. Okay. But the 3-4 years of of course, the initial few months would have been tough, but then the coping stage started actually. So really, really nice to know in the sense, the coping part of it, because no two people's situations will be exactly same. So the intention is only to offer some inspiration and hope actually, because we cannot really predict what could be the COVID moment for somebody else.
Right. So the coping part is really not to forget things, remember nice things.
Okay. True.
So that is probably the coping stuff for me, and it worked for me, and probably it'll work for others as well, maybe.
Yeah, I can agree on the writing part, because there was a time when I remembered that I wasn't known for my speaking skills. Even now, probably my speaking skills not among the greatest. But then writing is something that I have ongoingly done, and since probably 2005 time frame actually, and that's what eventually led to the first book, and now I'm trying to get to the second book. But second book, I want to actually get this from the voice of different accomplished people in many different spheres about their unlearning and relearning perspectives actually, which makes it a little more richer in terms of what I'm actually going to write.
Good luck for your next book, and keep many things coming in so that everyone can learn from you, Jagan.
Thank you, Durai. Really appreciate. I know you're a busy man, but you took this time out for the you saw the importance of trying to do this, which can actually probably impact somebody out there. We don't know. I mean, that's the attempt. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So thank you, all of you. Stay safe, and let's come out of this COVID pandemic moment as well in a very successful manner. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you. Just hitting the end. Stop stream.